Do you ever feel as a solopreneur na parang di mo maintindihan yung emotions mo? Right? You have anger, minsan jealousy, fear, envy, greed, gluttony. Like yung mga seven deadly sins. Um, well, this video might be for you. Kasi ako, when I realized all these, I don't want to say negative emotions anymore, pero sabihin natin undesired emotions, right? Um, and why we have them, parang mas nakakagaan ng loob, understanding why we have these feelings. Hi, my name is Jose Villablanca. I've been a personal trainer since 2007. So essentially, I've been a solopreneur, ganun na katagal, and I started this company, which I'm the founder and CEO called HoliFit. We've been around since 2018, and we're one of the biggest in terms of employee engagement here in the Philippines. And I want to share some tips on how I took care of myself as a solopreneur. So learn from my mistakes so that you don't have to go through them. Yeah, yun. That's one thing I wish I did from the start. So yun, let's get started with the first tip. So the first emotion I want to talk about is fear. I used to think fear was a bad thing, but then I realized that fear actually, although undesired, although it might feel like a negative emotion, it actually made us survive, right? Ano ibig sabihin nun, alright? Well, fear actually alerts us to danger and leads us to avoid things that might hurt us, right? For example, fear of heights, fear of rejection, fear of small spaces, kasi you could die in a small space. Fear of darkness, right? Kasi, what you don't see might kill you, right? Fear of heights, baka mahulog ka sa bangin, right? So all these things, fear, we should actually listen to it. It kept us alive, okay? So listen to your fears, right? Ayun, all animals, including human beings, are far more likely to overreact to something that's not actually threatening than they are to underact or not react at all to a real threat. Ang point dun is, sometimes iniisip mo, OA ka, overacting, diba? Na, spider lang, pero ang grabe ka mag-react. Tapos, hindi ka mag-react pag, there's nothing, like, ano sabi? O, underreacting or not reacting at all to a real threat. It's better to overreact than underreact. Kasi, right, may nakita ang spider or snake, right? Yeah, we act without thinking, right? Biglang tatalon tayo or we move away, right? Kesa we figure out if it's a really snake or not. Tapos kakagatin tayo. Too late, you die from the venom, right? So, it actually made us survive. So, okay yan pag OA ka. You react real fast to avoid getting bitten by a snake or a spider. So, if you ever think that sometimes ang OA ko, that's actually a good thing. That meant you would survive when we were hunters and gatherers, when there would be all these things that could kill us. Okay? So yun, evolution seems to operate on the idea that it's better to experience unnecessary fear and to react as if something is dangerous when it's not, than to fail to react to a real threat. So, that's why sometimes we think, what if I get rejected? What if pinagtatawanan ng mga tao? What if, all these what ifs, right? What if I fall off the ledge? What if I get stuck in the elevator? Then, when you have these fears, it made you, again, survive. So, parang, baka wag na lang. I don't want to fear rejection. I don't want to fear exiled ba? Or tatanggalin sa tribe ko. Kasi if you're taken out of your social tribe or where you live as a tribe, that could mean certain death. Kasi we're not lone wolves. We are a pack. We stay together. That's how we survive, right? If you get, so ayaw mo maging ridiculed, ayaw mo maging pinagtawanan, right? Ayun, if you're not afraid of the dark, if you have all these what ifs to make you survive, okay? So that's the whole point of fear. Here, another thing I want to talk about is aggression, all right? Aggression. Sometimes I can be aggressive, and I used to think, grabe naman ako, parang garapal or bastos or, salbahe. I don't know what the word is, right? A bit of an a-hole, right? So when I realized that being aggressive or aggression is a way to survive, right? You protect your tribe, your territory, your family, your food, your shelter, whatever it may be. Kaya tayo aggressive. And then, when there's one male against another, it's trying to get in your territory, trying to see how far you would go. Pag nakita niya aggressive ka, alam niya where to stop. Right? If you've seen alpha males, right, they'd fight, mga dogs or wolves. Ganon, they have to fight to figure out who's the alpha. Ganon din siya. So it made you survive. It made you realize saan ka sa hierarchy, so you don't have to kill yourself to figure that out. So aggression can also be good, but this day and age, yun nga, we don't really have to do that anymore because we can be civil. Pwede tayo mag-usap, we can be logical, less emotional. But unfortunately, we still have that emotional, reactive brain or system in us. So when I realized na ganun pala yung aggression, gets ko. But you just have to control yourself. And how do you do that? Ayun, exercise, get enough sleep, eat right. Para lang hindi yung parang nasa limit ka lagi, yung stress levels mo paakat na paakat and you don't know what to do but just implode or explode, diba? So yun, modern society, outbursts of deadly aggression are rarely beneficial to anyone. But before, culture, police forces, and a judicial system, individuals who were willing to resort to lethal aggression to defend themselves, their food, their offspring, their clan, and their territory were more likely to survive. So yun, nowadays we don't have to be aggressive anymore. Maybe just to show your territory, pero di na kailangan. Right? We can be civil about things. Okay, so the next thing we have here is self-esteem. So yun, this is something medyo recent para sa akin. Yung self-esteem ko, yung self-confidence ko. It's pretty much the same thing, right? Self-esteem reflects how good you feel about yourself in general or on average. And so self-esteem refers to how positively people feel about themselves. It is not the same as self-confidence, which is the belief that you can do certain things, right? Confident ka sa sarili mo, or bring out certain outcomes. So self-esteem, how positively you feel about yourself. Kung gaano ka positive. Hirap Tagalog. Anyway, psychologists distinguish between two forms of self-esteem. Yung una ay trait self-esteem. So that reflects how good you feel about yourself in general or on average. And the second is state self-esteem, which involves how you feel about yourself at any particular moment in time. State self-esteem fluctuates as people go through their days. Ganun din ako. It changes from day to day, month to month. Actually, in the last few years, kasi nagkaka-dad bod ako, my self-esteem kind of went down. Ayun. Research suggests that low self-esteem is associated with undesirable behaviors and emotions, that high self-esteem is associated with desirable behaviors and emotions. Ayun, so coming back to that fear of being exiled or fear of being ridiculed or fear na matatanggal ka. Self-esteem has matatanggal sa tribe mo. Self-esteem is something to do with this here as well. A desire for social acceptance seems to have evolved as a universal human need. Because before modern civilization, when our ancestors were living as hunters and gatherers, having a supportive group of people around you was critically important. A person who was not accepted by anybody would have had a very difficult time surviving, right? Kaya there are people who are good at fishing, people who are good at hunting, people who are good at masonry or whatever it is, right? Making weapons, right? We would divide and conquer, and that's how we survive as a tribe. So the self-esteem would actually parang help out with that as well. Now you might be thinking, how does this relate to being a solopreneur? So you have to kind of prove to yourself, not really prove, but believe in yourself, prove, fine, na kaya mo to, right? And how do you gain more self-esteem? I truly believe first you have to act, right? And then you see results, and then tumataas yung self-esteem mo. Try not to compare yourself to others, right? And same thing with confidence. You'll gain more self-confidence once you start seeing results. Okay? But again, just like the sinabi kanina, there are two types of self-esteem. So trait versus nasan na yun? State. So trait is how you feel about yourself in general. State can change. So make sure um, that you don't rely sa outcomes lang to give you this self-esteem, but truly believe in yourself. This value, I can provide this for my clients. They pay me a lot of money for this. Ganon, right? So for me, affirmations can help, and obviously having proof as well from my past history. So I would use my present, past, and future to give me that self-esteem. Okay? So hopefully that can work for you as well, that tip. By the way, guys, if you're loving this video, please like, subscribe. Trying to grow this channel, and the bigger the channel gets, the more comments I get, the more numbers, likes, whatever it may be, I get, the more content I can give to you. Pag nakita ko may mga results, my interest sa mga tao, the algorithm will help. Then I can, show more people and how I grew my business from being a solopreneur, which you probably are right now kasi nanonood ka nito, and to how you can build a team. So please help me, help the algorithm to find more people like you and give more content to you. So comment down below the next video you want to see, okay?